Hello and welcome to Irish Rise on Wrestling, Week 13, Part 1. I'm Sherlock, at Sherlock on Twitter.
I'm Sherlock, at Sherlock93 on Twitter.
And today we're going to talk about the news as usual, and then we're going to get into our Royal Rumble predictions. Start off with the news. WWE officials have approached the possibility of Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler match at WrestleMania 29. However, it is noted that the match may not necessarily be for the World Heavyweight title, currently held by Del Rio. Not sure, it would be a great match for the world title for WrestleMania. It would fit in nicely, but no, maybe they could do something else with him.
I think he should be wrestling someone better.
What?
Ziggler should be wrestling someone better.
He should, Del Rio's good. I'm liking Del Rio's face card at the minute.
Still boring. As I've said for years, or for months. WWE.com sources have learned that Brad Maddox and his own personal cameraman Carson apparently have been victims of attack during SmackDown television tapings and have been transported to a nearby medical facility. Further details are very limited at this time. Attempts to find eyewitnesses to the attack or to make direct contact with Maddox or Carson have proven unsuccessful. WWE.com will let us know whenever there's updates.
It's clearly a storyline, but sure, you never know.
Sure, it's pointless and he's a terrible excuse of a fucking storyline.
It was Rikishi, and he done it for the crowd. Hulk Hogan back in the news again. He told his legal team that Hogan is suing the Laser Spine Institute for $50 million because of his back problems that prevented him from facing John Cena at WrestleMania 25. The report notes the following: Hulk doesn't explain why he's suing for $50 million in the lawsuit, but Hulk's legal team tells TMZ the reason for the massive sum is a lucrative phase-out contract that was torpedoed by the bad surgeries. According to Hulk's team, the contract outlined a blowout match between Hulk and Cena, a match that was supposed to be Hulk's career ender, but thanks to the surgeries, it never happened. It's ridiculous that he's suing for that amount of money, and it's ridiculous that he's suing at all. He's gone on and he's been wrestling for TNA for years, anyway.
It was 4 years ago, 5 years gone, five.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Absolutely pointless. I hope he loses, I really do.
One of the big topics among wrestlers following Raw was how bad the John Cena promo was, especially since it was the closing of the show and came afterwards after this CM Punk and Rock promo.
It's very strong work from Punk and Rock on Raw, but the Cena promo, it was terrible. He started talking about Call of Duty to a kid. He started flirting with a woman, and then started berating a guy for being fat. They're meant to be all anti-bullying, and all he done, the face of the show, basically just berated the guy in front of the world. And then he said, oh, well, this Sunday I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. It was pointless, it was terrible. It was
Cena.
Yes, basically. As expected, the word is that Terry Funk will be inducting Mick Foley into the Hall of Fame this year. Great choice.
That's
great choice.
Fitting.
He'll be able to talk about old stories with Foley. There's no one else that could really do it as well as
Terry Funk. Ran down to the ring in the Hell in a Cell match. Yeah. Taker got chalk slammed out of the shoes.
True.
Regarding why WWE hasn't brought up Paige and some of the other top NXT talents to the main roster, where you don't see any more of these NXT call-ups after WrestleMania, which kind of makes sense.
Makes sense. It's too cluttered at the moment.
No point bringing in new guys, trying to get the push for them, and then they're not going to get a proper push till after Mania anyway.
Exactly. It's good. Raw rating this week, it averaged 4.317 million viewers, and this is down from the previous week's episode, which drew a 3.187 with 4.55 million viewers. The show did 4.3 million viewers for the first hour, 4.4 for the second, and 4.1 for the third hour. Dropped very low for the Cena Pro because it was just really bad, to be honest.
Some of the officials are said it will be high on NXT diva Sasha Banks, formerly known as Mercedes KV. 20-year-old diva made her NXT debut back in November, and officials are said to be very impressed with her recent work in development. This
is coming mainly from Dusty Rhodes, who's big time trainer in NXT, and he's very high on her. It could be a good thing. Another good diva coming into the business. WWE's game franchise will be sold to Take-Two, according to a report by IGN. Terms of the sale are unknown at this time, as details have not been finalised. These negotiations appear to take place outside THQ's formal auction process. I'm happy about it. Take-Two, they do their 2K, if you don't know, and they do the NBA 2K, and that's meant to be basically a put EA's NBA games out of business. They haven't made a basketball game in 4 or 5 years, and that's because 2K are just running away with it, and it's meant to be brilliant.
Hopefully they actually make a good WWE game that's actually great.
What they do in the basketball game, and anyway in NBA 2K, they have in their story mode, if you start off as a rookie, your own guy, make up your own character as your own guy, and let's say you join the LA Lakers. Kobe Bryant, there, if you play a couple seasons, Bryant will eventually retire, go into the Hall of Fame, and your character will get older, and the face gets older, and you'll eventually go into the Hall of Fame, and other new guys will come up behind you. If WWE can do something like that, if they can do a game like that, that would be outstanding. I'd really enjoy that. It would be so much fun and great to see.
Yeah, but doing something that in depth would be too hard.
I don't know. Might be good. I'd love to see it happen, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds good, but I think to actually have something that in depth and that much technology to go through, where a basketball game is a lot easier.
Oh yeah, it's true.
We're trying to invent new characters and new.
True. They have NXT guys. They can,
Yeah, but then it's a lot of constant updates to have in the
Yeah,
game.
I know. Yeah.
And it all depends on how fast one person plays the game compared to another person playing the game.
Exactly, yeah. But no, it should be good anyway. If that happens, I'd love it. It'd be great. That's our news anyway. We're going to get into our predictions for the Royal Rumble now, and we're going to start off as usual with the pre-show. It's the US Championship match: Antonio Cesaro versus The Miz. I can only see Cesaro winning this.
Yeah, as much as I'm a big Miz fan, I'm a bigger Cesaro fan at the minute, and I really want Cesaro to win.
Cesaro, he's impressed an awful lot over last coming months, and especially the past couple of weeks he's gone up against the top main event guys. He hasn't come out successful in many of them, but he's proven that he can go up against them and have a great showing. The Miz, I don't know, they're trying to give Miz this new storyline that he's the next Ric Flair. It was clearly meant to be for Dolph Ziggler, but he's off doing other stuff, so they're giving it to The Miz. And he's trying with the finger four leg lock, and it just looks terrible. And he tried it on Raw, it didn't work out whatsoever. It was awful. It really was terrible. But there is a bit of a risk with Miz winning the title because, he has nothing to do lately. He's just been going around on Miz TV, and basically the face turn hasn't worked out as everyone had hoped. But I can only pick Cesaro because Cesaro's
still waiting, hoping for Jack Swagger's return to beat Cesaro. So
yeah, I'm
still holding out for that.
Yeah, it'd be a great storyline. But I can only see Cesaro being that he hasn't lost to an American, as his gimmick is saying, and I'd love Cesaro to win. My pick, Cesaro.
I agree on that one.
Okay. That's the end of this show, part 1. We'll be back tomorrow with part 2. I'm Car Sherlock, Car Sherlock on Twitter.
I'm Chris Sherlock, Chris Sherlock 93 on Twitter.
Slán.